Welcome to Manny's TV Talk, where we will talk about all of our favorite reality TV shows and news surrounding them. Grab a snack, a drink, and get comfortable because this starts now.
I don't want to be at the lunch. I don't want to be at this lunch. It was a waste of my time.
Why did you come?
Because I was being nice.
Okay,
It was a waste of my time.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
Actually, so.
Hello everybody and welcome in. Today we're going to be talking about the new episode of The Real Housewives of New York, Season 14, Episode 13. I don't know why they decided to give us like the last 3 episodes actually be entertaining. Like, come on, this should have been the whole season, because now it's like stuff is getting good, but next week is the finale. So let's get started with this episode because it was crazy. So the episode starts with some just brief B footage of just little things some women are doing, like Brynn in her apartment, which we finally saw, and Ubah doing some modeling. But the first actual scene is Erin in her apartment, and she gets a phone call from Cy, of course, the 2 least likable characters in this show. And so it's not a surprise that Cy called her to talk mad-ish about Jessel. Cy says that Jessel made her wait 40 minutes, which that's a lie because Cy was there 20 minutes late. So technically she only waited 20 minutes. Like, if you're really bothered, did you tell Jessel that you were going to be late? Because technically you didn't know she was going to be late. But that's just a little side comment. So then Cy says that Jessel brought her mom into it and tried to make it seem as if what happened with her uncle was the exact same thing. So Erin, Miss Holier Than Thou, says, "Oh my gosh, how dare she do that? She's trying to relate to us, but it's crazy." Ugh. Then Cy says one more thing. She says, "Did you know her husband is going to Vietnam for like 3 days?" And this is music to Erin's ears. She says, "Well, if you connect the dots, this all makes sense." And she even brings up her husband into the conversation. And I think one of the reasons why I can't stand these women is that, for example, like just right now when they're talking about this Vietnam trip, I think we can all agree it might be a little bit weird that he's going, but the way they both talk about it with such malice and such spite, it's crazy. Like, it's not even entertaining, and they better be grateful Jessel's not ghetto, because they could get it. At the same time, we were seeing another scene with Jessel, who went to go see Jenna. So Jessel tells Jenna that she and Pavit, her husband, finally did the deed and that it was great. And she also tells Jenna about the lunch with Cy. She says, I was running a little bit late. I felt horrible about it. And Jessel says, I tried to talk to her about my uncle and what he went through, but she seemed not to care. And I'm glad Jenna was there to be a shoulder for Jessel to sort of cry on, if you will. Jenna says, you don't need to prove yourself to them. You're fine. Although, in her confessional, Jenna does say that trying to relate someone, like, I get it, but that's your mom. You can't do that. Jenna, I'm going to need you to catch up, because Jessel never compared it to her mom. She never said, "Oh, Cy, so, I totally relate to you. I have the exact same experience." No, she never said that. The thing is, Jessel was being bombarded and berated in that Anguilla trip. Matter of fact, the whole season, really, that you don't share enough. You're not vulnerable. You need to own it. You never tell us anything. So she said something that reminded her of that, which her uncle, if that's someone who's close to her, then that's something that she has a right to talk. So it's not the same, okay? Okay, so the next scene is Ubah. So y'all remember she has a line of hot sauces. So she's at a local restaurant who wants to do some sort of collaboration, like making a dish with her sauce, which I think is super cool. I'm a foodie and I loved seeing this scene. She was so excited. They ended up making some sort of burger or sandwich, and they were very excited about that. We move on to Cy, who is with her tia, her aunt. That's her mom's sister, and they were cooking some traditional dish, and Cy gives her this beautiful Christmas gift. It's a book of art of Cy's mom that she used to do, and the aunt is left in tears. I know I'm critical of Cy, but this was an amazing scene. I really liked it. It really was really vulnerable. The next scene is Jenna and her son going over to shop for some sunglasses because Jenna is going on a trip. She has joint custody. I think it's like 1 week her, 1 week the dad. But I really like this scene. I feel like they should definitely show more of Jenna and her son in that dynamic because I think that it's very nice, and she looks like she's a great mother. I feel like I think she even said it actually, that she wants to be everything that she didn't have. And that was that scene. And let me tell you something. I'm sure those sunglasses that they bought were several G's. Okay, moving on. So there's some sort of restaurant place called Swingers. I mean, the irony of it, right? So Erin and her husband went there, and sure enough was Sai and her husband. So, yet again another double date. So they are ordering a couple of drinks, and as they're waiting, Erin tells them Jessel and her husband are going to come, and so is Ubah. But while they're waiting for them to get there, can y'all guess what these 4 weirdos were talking about? Yet again, Jessel and her having sex, just like they did in their last double date. Then they tell the guys, both Sai and Erin, when Pavit gets here, y'all better get the scoop why he's going to Vietnam. Oh my gosh. So then my favorite South Asian couple gets here, Jessel and Pavit looking real nice. They sit down, and Pavit is instantly being interrogated by these vultures as to why he's going to Vietnam. And again, the delivery isn't even like, oh, so hey, like, why are you going to Vietnam? No, it's like, why are you going to Vietnam? Like, it's very aggressive, very hostile. And he says, I have a really good time spending in first class. I love doing that and coming back. I get some miles which I can use later on vacations for the family. And he likes to spend time alone. And then Erin says, well, I want to go. And he says, yeah, we can all go. Then they say, well, when are you going? And he says, I'm not sure. But the women are kind of now side-eyeing Jessel because last time they saw her, she said that he would be going in a week. But now he's saying he doesn't know. So they're kind of going to make her out to be a liar. But then the 3 guys go play some golf. I guess they had a golf thing in the restaurant. So the 3 women are left at the table, and they discuss the lunch that Sai and Jessel had. Sai says that it was the most awkward lunch she's ever been with. And once again, it becomes Jessel being burnt at the stake. Sai says, you know what, I was offended that you mentioned my mother. Give me a break. Come on now. And then in that moment, Ubah gets there, and she was just, fun, good vibes. She has no beef with anyone, so she was just a little positivity. But they continue to talk about this. Jessel is left speechless because she's thinking, I shared a story about a loved one who had an illness and died, and you're offended? What the hell? But she says, okay, I mean, I didn't know. I'm just, trying to be open, and I try to always, be truthful. I don't lie. So in that moment, you know how like when the human Bruce turns into the Hulk? Well, basically in that moment, Sai became Tamara Judge and Lisa Rinna in one. And she says to Jessel, you lied about the trip to Vietnam being next week. He's saying that he doesn't know when it's going to be. Before you knew it, she became completely unhinged, screaming, being aggressive, and says, I didn't even want to go to your effing lunch. And they start to go back and forth, and she tells Jessel that she is a effing bitch, and she gets up and walks out. I was just like, wow, what a miserable woman. Also, when they were arguing, Erin, or as Jessel called her, Sai's parrot, was whispering in Ubah's ear about Jessel and like, oh my god, like, just negative things she was saying to Ubah. Sai then goes to bother the men, and her husband is bringing up this Vietnam trip and says, Sai, if I went to Vietnam, what would you say? And she says, I would ask you, who are you effing? All Pavit does is laugh. He just laughs it off. Then the whole group gets together yet again, and Sai is sitting next to Erin, and she's screaming at the top of her lungs and says, I'm just being honest. I didn't want to go to her lunch. She was late, and she lied about Vietnam. Oh my goodness. But then Ubah tries to get the group together and asks a really interesting question to the men, which is, what made you guys choose your wives? David says that he loves Sai's honesty. Abe says that he loves how adventurous Erin is. By the way, Abe is a little weird, always talking about sexual stuff. I don't know what's going on with him. And then Pavit, when he's asked what he loves about Jessel, he says that he loves being able to do what he loves with her, like eating, going on trips, and she puts up with his ish. And that was that. And then Ubah sort of tells Sai, and just whispers a little bit, because Sai's husband had asked Ubah if she was dating anyone or if she had any sort of relationship. So Ubah told just Sai, keep in mind, no one else. She told her that she sort of has a little relationship, but it's secret, so please don't tell anyone. And then the last scene of the episode takes place in Jessel's apartment. I wonder if her back hurts from carrying this entire season. So Brynn comes over, and so does Jenna. Brynn announces that she's going to be having a birthday party, so they're talking about that. And then they're all talking about this little dinner that everyone had, since Jenna and Brynn were the only ones who didn't go. Jessel is sharing everything that happened, and she says, Sai called me this, she called me that, she called me a diva. And they ask Pavit, is Jessel a diva? And he says, Jessel a diva? No. Is Sai bipolar? Yes. The way he said it was funny. But all three of them, Jenna, Jessel, and Brynn, tell him to take it back. So he does. And I know some people were like, yeah, he should have taken it back. But let me tell you something. If my wife was called an effing bitch and they had repeatedly hurt her feelings and made her cry, I don't care if you're a man or a woman or whatever the hell you are, you're gonna get it, because you're not gonna treat my wife like that. And of course Brynn is messy too, so he has to even explain to her about the Vietnam situation. So then Brynn says, well, you know what? Erin actually did call me and tell me some little things about this dinner that y'all had. And she told me that Ubah asked a question why the husbands chose their wives. And apparently Pavit's answer was that he likes you, Jessel, because you let him do whatever he wants. And Erin also said that he wasn't wearing his ring. So she's becoming suspicious. And that's where Jessel just says, what the actual F? And Pavit says, I never said that at all. He hasn't had a wedding ring for a long time because he lost it 2 weeks after they got married. And at this point, Jessel is done. Like, she is so taken aback. She can't believe what's going on. And she starts to cry. And that's where, once again, I felt such sympathy for her, just like I did last episode, because she was crying real tears and she was saying, this has become something else. Like, this isn't even like little shade, fun shade, little jabs. Like, this feels like I'm being targeted. And I totally agree. I don't know what it is about Erin and Sai. I don't even want to go there. If it might be some prejudice, I don't even want to go there. But whatever the hell it is, it's wrong. And I'm tired of Sai and Erin. And that's what we got this episode. Oh, one more thing is that Brynn does tell Jessel that she needs to stand up a little bit more for herself, which Jessel says that she definitely did. And she did. She was definitely fighting Sai a little bit. But I do think that it's time for Jessel to get hood, okay? Because someone needs to put a stop to Brynn. But you guys, that was the end of the episode. Next week, like I said, is going to be the season finale. And Brynn's party is going to be a little bit of a disaster. What I told you guys about that secret that Ubah told Sai, it's going to sort of turn into a whole thing. And Sai's going to scream at Brynn and cuss her out too. So I'm looking forward to that. Like I said at the beginning, I don't know why they waited till the very end to give us something entertaining. But yeah, that was it for this episode. So let me know in the comments, what were your thoughts about this episode? I really like learning the comments because last time somebody on the comments said that Sai, there's a rumor that she was the side piece, which I was like, okay, that's interesting. But yeah, for sure, let me know, what did you think about the episode? What did you think about Pavit and Jessel and the way that they were being treated? And just anything else you want to tell me. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. You have a great one. Bye.